Yeah, so here's my latest drawing. Obviously, still working on it. Got to still put detail here. I got a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of it's important as well. It's probably been one of my most hectic weeks. Not just hectic. I got a little dog. Still got to do detailing. So what I'll do is I'll draw as I'm talking, and obviously the little baby's going into the oven. I won't say what the exact thing is. And once again, I'll show my face just because obviously people don't think I can draw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the little kid in. Before I do that, I want to just shout out one of the channels. It's called Comedy Speakers Corner. Please, it's called Characters Over Everything. You need to subscribe to this dude, man, because he's done a wicked character sketch. I'll put the link below and have a look. This is that ain't really respect. That is actually a character doing it. I don't know who owns the channel. So what he's done is actually this is LED. But like. What you need to... So you got LED with it. How do you know about... Hold on. Wait. Like, I hear you, bruv. But like, what you need to understand, yeah, is that... And then who comes in there? All I wanted to say was that I don't think the Sikhs would do this. I don't get why he's crying for. Bloody hell, he's got a pair of bloody balls, innit? Well done, dude, man. Characters and everything. I wish I know who that guy is, man. That is funny. Please subscribe to the guy, man, because I want him to do more sketches and get Tan involved and all this, and he needs subscribers for him to do that. The other thing is I'm going to be talking about 3 particular issues. Whoa, loads of stuff happened this week that is really kind of let me put the light on. So I've got the kid and the family there, and I'm going to be drawing a kid and the family here, so I'm just using a reference point, not copying it exactly, but just a reference point. So one of the things is that obviously that custom altercation I had with Mr. Suet Sat, he's done what I put a complaint through. Obviously, because of the conflict of interest, they can't admit fault, so they're going through with legal proceedings and defamation and all that kind of threats of police against me and all that kind of bullshit. You know what? I don't want to say too much, but I've actually had dealings with legal proceedings myself anyway. I conducted my own tribunal case against my last company, and guess what? I won. I can't say the name, so I'm very stubborn. It took 2 years to do when I did it. But if anyone can give me any advice about legally about that, I will put my email address below, pentacularartist, because they're saying that pretty much my behaviour was like I was basically they're saying I was aggressive and stuff like that. I'm going to tell the police and that I'm defaming his character and blah blah blah. Obviously, I don't think I have. I feel like I had no other recourse because obviously from their complaint procedure, I can't complain to the manager and they're not going to be able to give a complaint, deal with a complaint impartially. So there's a conflict of interest. And so obviously they're using the bully bag boy tactics of the David and Goliath. And I love those fights. Those fights are my favourite. So just give me a bit of advice about what to do, because I'm not going to back down on this. Because I know, obviously I wasn't 100% right. I could have done things slightly differently. But the overall kind of behaviour of this particular individual was so despicable from the offset that it was only going to go down one route because I was being treated so badly. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start drawing in a minute, but I'm going to talk about a few things. Before I'll tell you, I'm going to talk about Tan and the Judas accusation against me and that drawing that he wanted me to do. Oh my god, what the hell? I don't even know what to say. Tan, you really put me in a real predicament, man. Well, obviously I'm not doing it no matter what. But I'll explain why, and I'm thinking about actually doing it instead of doing that, doing a nice drawing encapsulating Speaker's Corner, maybe Tan and stuff like that, and then just a nice little drawing rather than something so controversial, just to kind of like you know, at least do something. I'll see if I get a good idea, but rather than being so divisive, I'll do something a bit more positive. Maybe we'll see. So the other thing is, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about people saying you can't film at Speaker's Corner, like demanding people to stop filming, even though everybody else is. So I'm always being told not to speak. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about something that just quickly, and I want people. I don't know about quickly. It's about Saracen. So big up Saracen. you know, whatever anyone thinks, I get on with Saracen. Yeah, I know people say, "Oh, you can't trust any." No, Saracen's a good dude, man, and he's the what I call the kind of the solution to the problem with extremism and stuff like that. And obviously, before I go on, I'm just going to be drawing the little boy taking the milk from the mum, and what I'm going to do is just pencil in, just for the artist, I use a black charcoal to get the outline, and then I'll start adding in all this stuff. I'm not going to do the face because I need to do that because I'm holding a camera and I don't want to do the face at the same time. Sorry for interrupting. And so one of the things is quite a controversial thing is going to happen over the next couple of days, because Saracen was at the park and he had a disagreement with Muhamed Taweed, who was a nasty individual, one of the most nastiest people at the park, a very dangerous individual. And whether I do think he's dangerous, but I do give him one thing: he is articulate. He does have a good way of speaking, and he's straight down the line. So I can at least I know where I stand with him. But an incident happened. I don't want to repeat it because they're saying it's slanderous. Obviously, I'm already in a slanderous situation right now. I'm already in a slanderous situation now with the Doculands. And so Saracen was getting threatened by Taweed. Taweed basically threatened him with physical violence. And there was Mr. Rax was recording. I was recording, and so was COE. And in retaliation, Saracen said something, and I don't want to repeat it, and everyone went crazy. Like, it wasn't even that much of a big deal, but it was kind of like a real kind of like little, like what I call like a Saracen done it like a little. Remember when I said to what I said to Theologian, to just kind of like when you know something about someone, and then you release the nuclear bomb when you need to, but you've waited, and he did that. He released the nuclear bomb, and Saracen released it, and the whole place just went mad. Muhamed Taweed obviously doesn't like people saying things against him, but he wants to say things against everybody else. Told Mr. Rax to take. I'm not going to say too much about the ins and outs because I promised. Even though I did really hate and dislike Taweed, I did promise certain things I will not disclose, and I'm going to stick by that. But he persuaded Mr. Rax to take the footage down because it was embarrassing for him. He then, what did he do? He started doing the sweet talking with me. I was like, oh, why is he sweet talking me? Then I found out within 2 minutes, all these compliments were going my way, and I was like, all right, what's this about? And then, because obviously he pulled me to the side, and I didn't know what he wanted. And he said, oh, Raj, you know, your artwork, this, you know, they always use my artwork as a way to get to me. Oh, Raj, oh, yeah, okay. And then what happens? I started realizing, I was like, all right, this is something to do with that footage. And so I just cut him to the chase, and I said, listen here, man, what is it? It's to do with the footage. Do you not want me to put it up? Blah, blah, blah. And yeah. So basically, I don't want to say too much. I'm in a kind of quandary, a dilemma about whether to put the footage up. If I'm being honest with you, I think I've probably made my decision. I'm not going to say it here. Wait for a couple of days if it comes up or it doesn't. If it's not up by Sunday, then it won't be up. But let's just say I've made my decision already. And let me just say, so people listening, and if people are listening, I didn't make the decision lightly. I made it because I was being told by a certain individual. I don't want to say anything. I can't say too much because then I'm disclosing stuff. All I'm saying is that there was a lot of emotional pressure put onto me, and Leon and them lot as well. Big up Leon. And so I don't know if anybody else, whether they're going to put the footage up. I've made my decision. I don't know if they're going to put it up or whether they're not, whether they are. So they can do their own decision on what they're doing. I've spoken to Muhamed Taweed, and I've taken into consideration everything he said, and I will make a decision that I feel is appropriate for me and my past relationship with that person. You can't just say to me, oh, now we're cool because you want something, when your behaviour has been totally atrocious and you're being a bully and a thug at Speaker's Corner for XYZ. But that doesn't mean I'll dismiss you outright, because obviously I don't want to say too much, but let's just say that, you know, I can't say too much. Oh my God, how can I rephrase this? Let's just say most sons really love their mothers. That's all I'm going to say, yeah. And so, you know, when you hear something about something, I can't say too much. You do have an emotional attachment, even if you really hate that person. Mother's a mother, and blah blah blah. I don't want to say too much. I better not. You know what? I better be quiet. So I'll give you a couple of days, and you'll see whether it goes up. Uh, Let me just say, whatever decision I make is going to go down badly. But I've made the decision, whichever decision I make, because people are not going to like it from either side. If I put it up, I'm going to get the shits. If I don't put it up, people are going to say you've compromised and you're not putting the video footage up for a person that is so vile. And so I will make the decision. Tell me in the comments whether you want me to put the video up. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But I'll be honest, you're not going to make no difference to my opinion. I've already made my decision. So, but it'd be interesting to know your thoughts about what's going on. Obviously, what I'm doing now is just penciling in with the charcoal so I can get the darks. One of the reasons I put charcoal first before I put... before I said I had a lot of... I made a mistake here. Last time I said these were charcoal. They're actually graphite. These are graphite. They're not charcoal. They're graphite. Graphite comes in a... Charcoal pretty much always comes in one particular form. Either that or a little stick like that. So the reason I put this for the eyes, the reason I put the charcoal first is because it's easier for pencil to go on top of charcoal than for the vice versa. So I always put the charcoal first because it's always harder to work on top of pencil for some reason. So it's just a technique that I've learned over the long period. Once you put pencil down, it's hard to put this on top of it. But it's easier to just go like that and put the pencil on top of that. Alright, so the next situation I'm going to talk about is Tan. Oh my god, Tan. You know, Tan gave me the impossible task. It was like a death sentence task. Like to draw Prophet Muhammad and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff. Basically, it was a death sentence task. It was almost telling me, Raj, I want you to get stoned to death. Obviously, I'm not going to do the drawing because not just because of the fact that you know, Muslims are going to be angered, but more from my own kind of moral standpoint as well. You know, I think people need to understand, because a lot of people get angry at me and they say, "Oh, Raj, you're a hypocrite." Rah. Yeah, obviously, all human beings are hypocrites to a certain degree. They have dual loyalties, and sometimes you know, will behave in a manner that seems hypocritical. And in my own head, it's very hard for me because I'm not an atheist. Remember that. I think people need to really understand this. I believe in God. Yeah, I believe in God. So when I hear somebody saying something, God is this or Allah is this, I would not say these things because I believe in God. They're just different words for God. And so I can't say it. I won't say it. And so it gets quite difficult for me because then it seems like obviously I was chosen as the Judas. Oh no. Poor Tan's going to be stabbed in the back by me and then he's going to be crucified because of my actions somehow. And so, you know, he asked me to do that drawing. And Tan, you're actually quite a good artist, man. I'm not going to lie. But no, that's not something I can do. And that's not because I'm scared of Muslims. It's because I personally would not want someone to draw my gurus or anything like that. So why would I draw theirs? It's kind of one of those kind of out of respect and saying, all right, I'm not going to draw it because of blah, blah, blah. I don't really have an issue with drawing religious figures. Obviously, I do a lot of Sikh artwork. So, but when it's kind of like doing it in a way that's, you know, might be seen as mocking. But this is where people find me kind of difficult to understand. I defend Tan's right to do it, though. Yeah, I defend his right to do it, but I do not want to do it. It's very hard for people to even understand, and I don't know why, because what I'm saying is that although I'm not just like a blind follower. Although I don't want to do it, if Tan wants to do it, I defend his right to do it. Do I agree with him? No, but no one should be physically harmed, intimidated, beaten up, or thingy for that. If you want to write a complaint or say I don't agree with it, that's fine. But when you start going into physical violence over drawings and words and stuff, then it becomes problematic. Obviously, we've seen with the Charlie Hebdo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was trying to go into freedom of speech in terms of, and then it just kind of led into freedom of speech with Saracen. And as much as I get on with Saracen, there are things I strongly disagree with him, and his kind of view on freedom of speech I think is very backwards. it is a slippery slope. I mean, if you listen to Christians, I mean, Muslims talking about Christianity. I mean, I've heard it so many times. They say, "Oh, Jesus comes out the vagina of a woman, does he? Jesus comes out. I think Jesus goes for God goes for a piss, does he?" So there's all this stuff like God behaving like a normal human being. They're mocking Christians over it, and that to Christians would be very offensive. But for a Muslim, it's like, oh, it's fine. And this is why people have a lot of problems with kind of like the double standards of Muslims, because they really cannot take any criticism of their own faith. But when they're doing dawah, they can be very ruthless when they're criticizing people. So I just want to say to them, do you want to still do dawah? If you do, then you should be happy you don't have any blasphemy laws in this country, because the way the UK is, remember, this ain't Sharia, we're not living under that bullshit jizya and stuff. It's gonna be that it's gonna be obviously that the rule would have to apply to everybody. We're not going to be you're not going to suddenly have dhimmi status with one group like you do under Sharia, and one group has one law and the other group has another. It applies to everybody, which is why it's fair. And so if we can't criticize Islam, we're not allowed to criticize Christianity, Sikhism, or anything like that. And I do say to people, if your faith is so weak that mere words, because there's a lot of butthurt Sikhs sometimes come on here as well, crying and bitching. Oh, Raj, why are you criticizing? Why are you criticizing? Sikhs are now getting thingy, and some idiot, I'm not going to say his name, thought of a word called Sikhophobia. That I created Sikhophobia. What an idiot! Um, all I've shown is the nasty side of these people, and how when you prod them a little bit, their nastiness comes out. At least with me, you can see the nastiness all the time. I'm a prick most of the time, so you can get used to it. You need people like me in the world, because without me, you're just gonna have people walking around like, appeasing everybody. You need people that will stand up for them and say, no, I'm not gonna deal with that shit. Um, like some individuals, and obviously I've had some stupid messages now saying, Raj, you're gonna from fake accounts, Raj, you're gonna cause attacks on Sikhs, man. Just watch what's gonna happen because of your actions. Shut up, you idiots. Shut up, you idiots. If anyone attacks anybody, it's that person who attacks them's fault. Yeah, nothing to do with me. Yeah, I'm not telling anyone to go out and attack. They're savages. They're complete retards that are doing it. So they can take responsibility for their own actions. Anyway, what I'm using now is a woodless pencil, and the reason I use this is good for clothing. And this is graphite pencil. It gets a bit more. Sorry, I'm going over to thingy. So with tan, yeah, like I said, very difficult situation for me to be in. You can see my face. I'm kind of like covering it with my scarf, because I was just like, oh my god, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? How do I get out of this? Because I still support Tan, but I can't do this. So, a lot of people don't realize, I've taken the reason why Tan has called me the Judas is because I've taken him to like MacD so many times. And we've sat down and said, dude, please, man, calm down on this guy. No, and he's got his own message. And like I said, I can respect people that are very straightforward, even if I disagree with a lot of things he might do. But his overall message, like, about free speech is something that I support. Like, I think this is why people support Tan, is not because they agree with him, but they like the fact that he's so in your face about free speech. It's like, I'm going to push it to the limits and you're going to have to get used to it. And I think in a way that's kind of good, because some people might say, how can it be good? Well, it's a bit like, like somebody who might not be, like people in the forest or something, they don't have shoes. I know it's going to sound a bit of a weird analogy, but after a while, their feet become so numb to the what you call the harshness on the floor that their feet are like rock. And I think this is what needs to happen to the Muslim community, that they need, when they hear these things, after a while, they'll become desensitized to it. And for them, they can then live and behave normally rather than flying off the handle, killing people when they hear something they don't like, that is against their faith. And Tan is like that person, like the forest, like battering their foot. That sounds a bit of a weird analogy, but he's just desensitizing them, because after a while, if he keeps on doing it, either he'll be dead, or they will slowly come round and be like, all right, ignoring him, and he'll be able to say something, and they wouldn't even bat an eyelid after a while. And I think that might happen in the way that, To some people. I've seen some people who used to react really badly to him, don't even bat an eyelid now. They're like, all right, that's Tan saying that. And so in a way, they become desensitized in a way, which is good. For me, I think being too sensitive about words like that about your faith and stuff. I can understand if someone says something at your mum and stuff, and I can understand you being upset and offended. I get offended. If someone said something about Sikhism, yeah, I'm going to be offended, man. Don't trust me. My gut reaction will be to be pissed off, but I'm not going to go around freaking calling for someone's head to be chopped off or blasphemy laws to be put in. What I'll do is I'll read it, I'll get upset, maybe I'll write a complaint, maybe I'll say blah blah blah, but I'm not going to go crazy and track these people down. So what I'm using now is a blending stump. Sorry, I know I keep jumping over a blending stump, so just to get the thing in, I use a blending stump obviously for they go larger as well sometimes. And so so what I'm going to go on to next, where's the next thing? Yeah. So the other thing is, like, one of the things I find quite strange about Speaker's Corner is like, people are recording all over the place, and then people go over and say, "Oh, you can't record," and you have people going, "Oh, please don't record me. Get my permission." Now, when you're in Speaker's Corner, you can't do that because people are recording. You need to understand that. And one of the things that's been happening against me is that when I'm recording and there's like other YouTubers recording, I'm singled out for the person. We don't want you to record. So obviously last week it was with Muhamed Taweed, and he said I can't record, and he started putting people in front of me to stop me recording, and I just moved over to the other side and I said, I'm not moving, this ain't Sharia. And if I'm being honest with you, I only recorded the whole conversation because he told me to move. Otherwise I would have stayed. I would have just left earlier. And on Sunday, again it happened with this situation with that the video that Taweed doesn't want up. I was told to leave by Jedi. Jedi said, I don't want you filming, I don't want to be on your channel. And I'll say to everybody, including Jedi, I can film wherever I want. Yeah, I can film wherever. Speaker's Corner. If I was on the road doing this, filming people, I can understand. But I'm in Speaker's Corner. I will make exceptions. Say if it's just like one camera crew and it's a private conversation between, like, an exclusive conversation. Yeah, I will move because I don't want to interfere with that. Because sometimes I have my own private conversations, and don't want to interfere with that because it can change the dynamics. But if there's 2 or 3 cameras, like on that day when you had Mr. Rax, big up Mr. Rax, you had TNT Greeks, I think, was there, Continent Everything, and me, and then I'm being singled out. Oh, you can't record it. That's bullshit, man. I'm gonna say it again. I think I said it. I'm gonna say this, that no one can force me to move. Yeah, if anyone touches me or goes in front of me or moves me and stuff like that physically, yeah, I have no hesitation going to the police. Yeah, no hesitation. I'm not gonna be kind of bullied and intimidated like that. People saying I can't record here, I can't record that. That's bullshit. I'm allowed to record wherever I want. I don't dictate to people, oh, you can't record here, you can't record there. If there's people recording already. So yeah, I'm not accepting that kind of stuff. So obviously, another thing is that Jedi was like, oh, Raj, you just use grooming for your growth of your YouTube channel. This is such bullshit, yeah. Because the thing is, what makes me so sick and what really aggravates me is that all Jedi and them, like, yeah, they talk about their community, their things that are affecting their community, yeah, big things that are affecting their community, like racism and knife crime and stuff like that. But when I want to talk about something that's affecting my community massively, oh, you can't talk about it. You're using it to grow your YouTube channel. No, I'm not using it to grow my YouTube channel. It just happens to be that a lot of people are concerned about this, and it's affected me directly, and it's affecting my community directly. If anyone watched that video with the Sikhs that come down from Sikh Awareness Society, who deals with grooming, they still had 30 cases on the go, most of which were Sikh girls being groomed and molested and pimped out by Muslim guys. So why can one community talk about their issues and it's fine, they're not exploiting it, but when I talk about it, I'm exploiting it for my own YouTube views? That is complete bullshit. And I will keep on talking about it. And I said it I will not stop talking about it, but I'll talk about it in a more productive way with people that are sensible and not apologists. Yeah, so no one's going to shut me up on that. Yeah, like I said before in my other video, I'm gonna red pill the Asian Muslim community, but I'm not going to give them the choice of a red pill. I'm going to shove it down their throat, and they need to wake up and realize there's a grooming epidemic, and it's not going to stop until you accept there is. Yeah, acceptance is the first phase, and they haven't even got to that stage yet. So I can't even work with them yet. I can't even be polite because they're not even at the first stage. They're still in denial. Even though just over a week there was another case with the, what is it, 32 guys, and the 18 people whose name they disclosed, 17 had Muslim sounding names. 4 of them were Muhammad. Yeah, and that's just from one case that just come out last week. God knows, like, you know, how much it's going to take before the Muslim community or the Asian Muslim community starts to kind of say, oh, okay, there is a problem. Because at the moment, they're just like completely burying their head in the sand. And like I said, I can talk about what I want, and if it's affecting my community, I'm not going to have other people telling me, Rod, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. But then those people talk about their own issues about affecting their community 24/7. And I don't ever say that. That's your right to do it. If it's affecting your community, talk about it. Yeah, and I have that right as well. It's not me exploiting an issue. I'm just trying to highlight an issue that has affected my people. So expect more talking about grooming, but in a more productive way. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of. I think I don't know if I've got anything else to say. Actually, I think that's pretty much it. I'll draw for a little bit longer, but like I said about this case against Doculand, yeah, they're taking legal action. They said, and they're going to be sending legal papers. So if the videos go down, it's probably because, you know, I've been given legal papers and I'll have to take it down. For me, I've already said my piece. I'll never shop at that place again anyway, no matter what. They're nasty people. Like, the staff are amazing, but the boss is a nasty piece of work. And I'm still not sure why I was treated so badly. Maybe it was to do with the fact that, you know, he recognized me from Speaker's Corner. I don't know. But it was just so unreasonable. I am going to try and get them to disclose the CCTV camera to show them that, you know, because they're trying to defame me by saying I was behaving like a lunatic. But I wasn't. I was very reasonable because, you know, I've shopped there so many times. Like, you know, why would I go crazy there? Like, I just wanted a scan done. And in fact, I actually was so reasonable because I needed that scan done so much that I didn't want to cause a fuss. And so I even, like, in the past, something that I would have lost my temper over quickly, I bit my tongue because I was like, I need that scan because I wanted it up. So I thought, if I can just get it done, even if I had to pay a little bit more, £5 more, I would have done it. But he just refused. Even though he knew afterwards, he admitted he made a mistake about the price, and it was actually supposed to be between £10 and £20. But by that point, he told me to leave the store, and he won't do it. And I'm pretty much barred, and that's when I kind of said my piece and walked out, and he followed me. Obviously, he's saying he didn't follow me because follow me to attack me, but to get me away from the store. But I wasn't doing nothing outside the store. I was walking away, and so he was following me to obviously, you know, try and intimidate me. So I'm kind of flattered that they're taking legal proceedings. I know it sounds weird. I'm kind of weird like that. I'm like, oh wow. Oh wow, you're taking legal proceedings against me. That's great, you know, because you know why? Because you know when people start taking legal proceedings, you know you've rattled them, yeah, because that's kind of like their way of going, you better shut your mouth because you're making me look bad. So if you look at, I think he's taking his Facebook page down and stuff like that. You know, I deserve. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect, especially when you're a customer and stuff. And the way I was treated was so abysmal that it was a terrible situation. I'm not the type of person to back down either. This is my biggest problem. You know, if anyone knows my past, like with my last employer, they'll be shocked about my stubbornness. I'm not going to say too much because I can't for legal reasons. But let me just say something. I put a case through, and it took 2 years to get it resolved. But throughout those 2 years, I was still working at the company that I was having a problem with. So imagine that. you got a case against somebody, and you're conducting it yourself, and you're still working with the people you got a case against. I can't say too much because for legal reasons I can't say it. But let's just say it ended quite well for me, so I was quite happy. It went my way. So I think a lot of people get frightened of big companies coming down on them and stuff, and it is quite intimidating when you get these legal letters. But a lot of time, what they're trying to do is scare you, to intimidate you, and a lot of people, because they are not used to it, they tend to crumble at the first hurdle. Whereas in reality, most companies do not like the bad publicity from these stupid little cases, or don't, because for them they're spending a lot of money as well. Whether you like, no one wants to spend money on court cases and stuff, so a lot of times they'll try and settle out or do this or do that. Most of it's thinking, maybe with my one it might be different. I haven't had a court case for a long time, so maybe I might, maybe I'll become a lawyer after this. Put my mind to it, become a lawyer. I don't know. Maybe I might be good at that. Kind of get all my energy out in court rather than speaker's corner and do that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of, although I don't need the headache, but it's not. It's not something I'm gonna just back down about. I feel I've been mistreated. So when I feel I've been mistreated, I'm one of those type of people that can be so stubborn that even to the point that it could be detrimental to myself. So I'm going to get my sister involved as well. My sister's very, very clever. I'm going to get her involved, and hopefully she can kind of like not make me go into self-destruct mode, because sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not listening. They've done bad to me. I think that might be to do with my autism, because people on the autistic spectrum think sometimes in a very black and white way, and they're right and wrong, and when they're wrong they can take things very personally, and yeah, that's not going to be a good thing. I don't really think I'm much on the autistic spectrum now, but I still got traits that are a little bit strong, and that's one of them, I think. So what I'm doing here is just smoothing everything out with my blending stump, and you'll see it later on when it's thingy. Obviously, I mean, people are going to be stirred by that. It's one of the guys. One of my heaters was actually crying and bitching about this, and he reported it to YouTube. What a little bitch. And guess what? You're going to be in hell like that, you little idiot. You're going to be in hell. If that's what you believe in, you're going to be in hell like that. Trust me. He knows who I'm talking about. I think it might be that real Carcer, that prick. Or it could be, who else is it? There's some other people. Can I say something about real Carcer, yeah? There's a guy called real Carcer. Any Sikhs, yeah, let me say it now. Any Sikhs that speak to him in a civil manner, yeah, and I'll read it, I'm going to be straight with you. You're going to start becoming my enemies. Because somebody using for the non-Sikhs, you won't understand, but Khalsa is one of the most kind of beloved words for Sikhs. It means pure, and it means the Sikhs, the Khalsa is the Khalsa. For Sikhs, we know what we mean. And for him to use that name on his thingy is like someone using the word, let's say, Muhammad, the real Muhammad. That's how disrespect it would be to the Sikh. And so he knows what he's doing, but for some reason, Sikhs on YouTube, I don't know what's wrong with them, especially one particular one, seems to be like, oh, it's perfectly fine. No, it's not. Yeah, as soon as I saw that name, no matter what he had written afterwards, unless it was, if it was negative against Sikh, he was my enemy. And he straight away was talking bullshit about Sikhism and all that kind of stuff. So when I read the comments and people are being all chummy with that particular prick, who is Sikh, who's being chummy with them, yeah, trust me, I'm not gonna be. That's a what I call a tick against your name. I've actually banned someone. I'm not gonna say the guy's name because I don't want to give him any more thingy. But I banned him, and that was one of the reasons why. Because every time I looked in the comments, this guy was like lovey-dovey with these people that are what I call my full-on enemies, and have been disgracing or saying shit about Sikhs for God knows how long, and he's chummy with these degenerates. So yeah, I'll take things into account like that. What did I say? I forgot. I completely forgot. I'm hoping to live stream, unless my video gets banned. This particular video, the one that I put up with that Doculands, because they're putting legal proceedings, so they might get it banned, and then I'll get strike against my thingy. If I do, guess who my first live chat will be with, hopefully. Tan. I'm hoping I can get Tan on this. So everyone, right on there, if you want Tan on there, and then I'll get him on there. And hopefully we can have an amazing first live chat. Obviously, I need moderators, and people are going to get banned from that live chat left, right, and centre if they start talking shit. I'm going to be like a dictator in that live chat. Just watch. You know, I'm all for free speech, but I'm also a bit of a maniacal dictator in that way as well. I want my own way on that thing. And I'm going to be chucking people off, banning them, blocking them. You just watch. But if I can get Tan onto the first one, that would be amazing. So I think if I'm going to do it, it might be on the weekend, like on a Saturday or maybe a Friday, or I don't know. I can't remember what day my strike is going to be up, because I've got strike on my channel at the moment. And then another strike might come on as well, which will make me unable to upload videos if Doculand gets their way. So they probably put a strike. I'm trying to get a strike on there as well. So you might my channel might actually go down for some points. If it does go down, I'll start uploading on a channel called Roasting Savages. That's a joint one between me and Hassan, and so I probably will think. Sometimes I use what I call a cotton wool as well, to, if I've got a big area like this, just to smudge it in and smooth it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so they come in use as well, not just for makeup. Alright, so don't think I really got much more to say. The thing is, like I said about the Muhamed Taweed thing, I will say to you, Muhamed Taweed, you're not my friend. I don't like you. I am bordering on hating you. I know Sikhs shouldn't hate, but I do. I think you're a nasty piece of work. I will make my decision. Actually, I've made my decision, and I've made it according to. Let me say, I've made the decision according to what I think is justice, in the sense that if somebody behaves in a way, do they deserve to then have? Let's just say, let's say somebody behaves in one particular way. Do they then deserve to be treated in a civil manner afterwards? Is that the humane thing to do, or is that the pussy thing to do? Or should you just be a complete prick and say, no, I refuse, I'm not going to have any leeway, and I'm going to do what I want? So I've made my decision, but whatever that decision is, it's fixed, and whatever consequences come after that, yeah, I'm ready for it, man. Let the hate begin, or let the love begin. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to get hate for it, because I'm going to get hate from either side. Because some people are telling me to put it up, and obviously Taweed doesn't put it up. Yeah, and so I'll make a decision. Everyone just put their comments below. It's not going to affect my decision now, because if I'm being honest, I've already made the decision, and once I've made my own decision, I'm not turning back. What I do want, like I said about that, I'm going to mention it again about that Doculand thing. Anyone got any legal advice for me about how to counterclaim their, what is it called, they're saying I've done defamation and libel against him and blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be interesting to know how much, because they're going to be sending a letter. So I'd like to read the letter and see how serious it is, or not so serious, or is it just hot air? Remember, before everyone says, oh, why did you put the video up? Now, this is the owner of the company. I knew, yeah, that me putting a complaint through, like I did, I still put a complaint through, because you've got to go through the official manners as well, channels, that the conflict of interest of somebody handling a case against their employers was only going to end one way. Yeah, it was never going to end it any other way, just because of the conflict of interest. You know, the person is paying your wages, so how can you in any way give a unbiased, totally unbiased judgment? And obviously from this particular judgment, I don't want to go into it, it was so biased that it's almost like, you know, it says that it wasn't written by him, but it sounded like he literally like just said it out loud, and the person just wrote it down. That's how it sounds. It was coming from his mouth. So I had to go down the route of exposing that individual, because I don't think it's acceptable for somebody to follow somebody outside. I don't even think the word prick is even that offensive. I mean, you know, I didn't say you're a cunt or anything like that or anything. Oh, he said he's going to tell the police as well that I offended the public. Somebody else, one of my heaters, said that as well, that the little kid in the pushchair is traumatized by what I said. If that's the case, then that person following me outside might have traumatized the kid. You know, he was following me down the road, telling me to go around the corner. Maybe the kid now thinks it's normal to tell people to go around the corner to attack. You know, I'm not going to say the word attack, but to try and intimidate them. So it goes both ways. Anyway, give me some advice on that. I'll leave my email address below, pentacularartist@yahoo.co.uk. I'd be interested to know. I do kind of enjoy these little kind of battles sometimes. I haven't really had one with libel before. That's amazing. Imagine that, a libel case I got. It had to happen at some point, so it'll be good. I still need to find someone to scan my artwork. So what I'm going to do now is just draw for a couple of minutes, just so that I don't speak. Obviously, I need to smooth this out. As you can see, and then what I do now is I will get a what you call electric eraser, and if I go a bit closer in, what I do is to pull out white. So you know, the way you do it is to pull out whites, and that just gives it more what I call 3-dimension. More 3-dimension. And I'm not telling anyone to complain, but if you still want to complain to that store, complain away. That's your right as the public. You viewed the images, and you can decide for yourself whether you think it's appropriate for somebody to follow me outside the store. Even if I did say that word and tell me to go down the road, is that proportional to the word? I didn't say nothing that bad, I don't think. Is it proportional to then trying to intimidate me? I wasn't walking towards the place or anything. I was walking away, and so I'd like to see this. I've asked for the CCTV footage because it's gonna pretty much backfire on them once they see it. Because I know for a fact, 100%, because they're trying to say that I was being aggressive in the store, and I wasn't. 100% wasn't, because I wanted my scan, and I knew if I start being too overly, what I call too overly aggressive or thing like that, I'm not going to get my scan, and I wanted that bloody scan so badly. So these people. So what I'm doing now is I got a rubber, and as you can see, I'm pulling out the lights of the thingy to give it the creases and stuff. And this is just a process that's kind of boring. It just takes time, and you have to keep on working on it and smoothing it and working on it and smoothing it. And so you can see here, I'm just pulling out the whites. Now I'm going to probably put pattern on. When you see it next, you'll probably see pattern on there as well. I'm not sure what type of pattern. When you've got a larger area, just get a rubber and do this, look. And there's no point using an electric eraser. So you can see I'm already pulling out the whites. And what's happening now is obviously when I'm doing it, I'm getting a light source from here, and it's hitting these shorts. So you will see. And then you have the socks. Dog's still not done. He's a little bit fat at the back, so I need to kind of like sort it out. Oh yeah, another thing is kind of weird that I've just drawn a kitchen, because this is the first. I used to be a kitchen designer, so this is one of my favourite hoods. So it was actually kind of easy drawing kitchens. I know I used to be quite a good kitchen designer. I did it for so many years, like 5-6 years. Pretty good money actually, but I was miserable as anything. Like anything, a job, if you're doing it for X amount of hours and you hate it. I didn't hate it, but I hated the people. And so, you know, I had to deal with the public all day. It was a nightmare. Like, half of them were like, you should really annoy me. Like, some of them were nice, but most of the time it was very difficult. But I always stayed polite, and this is one of the things that Doculands need to realise, that, you know, you have to stay polite. Even if you've had a hard day, don't take it out on the customers. Be as pleasant as you can. Because some days you have harder days than others, and you can take it out on a customer, especially if you own the business. You don't care about the repercussions because you're the boss, so who gives a shit? No one's going to be able to tell me off. So yeah, better not say too much about that guy. He might start suing me again. This never been sued before. I really want to see what it feels like, because I don't know how it works. So actually, I'm going to start learning about defamation now. That's what I did about the tribunal case, the employment tribunal that I had, and I learned a damn lot. I learned quite a lot about it, actually. Learned some very interesting tips about what you can and what you can submit to a tribunal, and what you can do legally in a company in order to obtain evidence and stuff. Because you'd be surprised what is permissible in a court, a tribunal, that you probably thought wouldn't be permissible if it's done in a particular way. I won't say what, because otherwise everyone will start asking me, and then I'm going to have a big headache trying to answer all these things. Or maybe I might do it, and you don't want to do my live chats. Maybe you could ask me, and I can talk about it that way and just get out of the way then. Well, anyway, so you can see here, now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pretty much end the video now. But what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I've hit the lights, and now what I'm doing is now smoothing it out so things are nice and smooth and everything like that. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to read the letter out, or whether it's going to be private. Someone answered that. A legal letter, is it allowed to be read out on the net? Because I wouldn't mind getting some advice from people, and people telling me what to do in my live chat, because then I can maybe read the letter out, and I can kind of get some advice on what my next step should be. Anyway, I'm going to be off, and the next few days should be very, very interesting. You know, hopefully I won't be this baby being roasted in the oven, or this. I forgot to show that one, but obviously I don't want to. That's not finished at all. I'm leaving that to the end because it's so complicated. I need to change stuff, so I haven't sprayed it or anything. So I don't know whether to. I shouldn't. But have a read of this. What does that say? There's a cereal box on the thingy, and what does it say? What's the cereal box's name? I'm gonna get so much hate for that. Sorry, man. I couldn't not do it. I had to have it on there. Have a look. It's a new cereal box. Nice cereal. Nice cereal. So if you want a hot dinner or hot what I call a hot cereal, this is a new one. Anyway, bring on the hate. Take care.